My name is Darla Schrader, and I've lived in this community for about 25 years. Raised both of my kids here. I've been sewing my whole life, quilting for about 12 years. I've made a lot of quilts, and but one that I made here just a couple of years ago, I made for my daughter. And it was a surprise. It was for her wedding. It was a wedding ring quilt, and it was non-traditional, and it just had a lot about her vacation that she went on when her husband proposed to her. So, and it was fabric that was very hard to find, but once I found it, then I made her this quilt and surprised it with her on her wedding day. And it was special. The quilt that I made for my son, and I made this because I had made the special one for my daughter and surprised her, so I wanted to do the same thing for him. And I spent a lot of time trying to find the fabrics, trying to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. I didn't have a clue, and when I finally did figure out what I was going to do, like I said, I had spent a lot of time collecting fabrics, a couple of years trying to figure this out. And when I finally figured out what I was going to do, I started making it, and just about a year ago is when I started making this quilt for him. And I just wanted to put in all the things that he loves to do. I just wanted the quilt to just say Kyle. He snowmobiles, he boats, he has quads, and he's a hunter. So I wanted everything to show all these things that he loves to do, and so he was my inspiration. Well, I wanted it to be a surprise. So, and same with my daughter's quilt, Stacy's. Every time they would come over, the kids would come over, I'd have to hide everything because I wanted it to be a surprise. And I did the same thing with Kyle. And so when we went to the fair, that was the first quilt that was hanging right there. So we walked up to it, and he looked at it, and he said that, it was going through his mind. He said, "Oh, that snowmobile looks like mine." It took him a few seconds to realize that was his quilt and that I made it for him. And he was just coming to see the quilts that I had taken to the fair, because I told him, I said, "Oh, I've got a couple quilts in the fair." But he loved it. He was just thrilled. He was thrilled, and so of course I was. So it got a first place ribbon and the superintendent's choice ribbon. So it was very nice. It was the icing on the cake.